All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again. I started a live stream earlier, so if you went to show up, I apologize. I forgot I had a business meeting, but we're back here doing the damn thing once again. Let's do a little reminder of what we were trying to do. So I got a mock-up. I don't like this. I'm gonna rework this, but I got a mock-up of my side nav. And how that's going to look. So I have a couple ideas of what it is that I want to do with that. And so we're going to rebuild this, or we're going to build this, I should say. So you can see we have our ad, we have our share, we have a course, we have a support thing. So that's what we're going to be building right now. My apologies if you're at the earlier stream. I'm going to put this up. And I think I talked earlier about how I build the online notification if you missed that. But right now, we're going to move over to here. Oh man, I got tired all of a sudden, so. You see our test suite's going. We got 64 tests in this bad boy. Not too shabby. So, the sidebar component's going to go on a category page. So you can see we have our header here, we have our ID topics, we have our app card, we have our app card, and now we are going to create a app-side-bar, and we're going to open up our little browser extension here. And go to localhost 4200. All right, close that out. All right, cool. So first thing we want to do is just make sure that it's rendering all right. We got a nice H1. Put a hello world. Cool. So everything's synced up. So what I like to do before I start positioning on the page, just make sure it's doing what I want it to do. And what I mean by that, let's just actually take this app sidebar and we'll throw it right above the app card right here so we can see it render out. We eventually, of course, are going to have to put this on the side. Alright, cool. So our category module, sidebar component, sidebar component.ts. Excellent. Now, there's a couple pieces to this. There is the add piece, which I suppose we could build an add component and put it there. I don't know. I think we might. So sidebar. Let's build the share. I'll figure out what I want to do with the ad in a second. So our share component's pretty nice. Sorry, I'm putting some music on, guys. Alright. Do you want to build a share component? I'm just trying to debate if we're going to put this anywhere else. Right now, I think this is small enough that we can just do it as one component, and then I can kick myself for doing that later. I think that's okay. All right. So, let's start here. So we're gonna make this an article, and each one of these is going to be a section in our article. So we're gonna have a share section. And this first section, we'll give it an ID equal to share. And in our share, we're going to want a share icon. So let's go ahead and get an icon. God, what am I looking for? Fontawesome.com. Share. Excellent. So put something like that in there. Cool, there's our share icon, and then we'll put a little space here. Share. Excellent. And then below that, we'll go ahead and put a div. And in our div, we're going to have the Facebook icon. There's that. And then we're going to have LinkedIn. All right. Wow, I didn't copy. I think I had a brain fart is actually what happened. Then we're going to have LinkedIn. Cool. And finally, we're going to have Twitter. Cool. All right, now that we've done that, we'll give this ID equals social-media. And we'll come back to, I suppose we could take care of it now. So we're going to import the CSS variables that I like to use so much. Give me my SAS files. Hey, Bobby Nicholson, what's going on, baby? Cool, there's that. So now that we've done that, we will go ahead and I'm gonna do this actually. Share container. And then we'll put a div around this. You in Angular here? Yeah. Share action. Cool. Now I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this share here in its own div. All right, so let's start with this. So we're gonna start with an article, and then we are going to this will be a display of grid. And then we have grid dash template columns auto and auto. And then we'll say excuse me, actually I'm messing this up already. Display a grid. We'll say hashtag share dash container. Which will also be a display. I'm sure you've been asked this a million times, dude. You're right. So why do I like Angular instead of why am I an Angular guy versus a React guy? Well, for me personally, I've always I still mess this up. I've always really much. I've played around with everything. I've done Angular, I've done Vue, I've done React. Although I haven't worked in React professionally, I've played around with some projects. I've always hated React because one, it changes quite frequently. Two, I feel like it's less testable, and it doesn't support a lot of things that I like about Angular, which is that it's maintained by one group of people. But more than anything else is, in Angular, you should have an idea of what dependencies to use and what. So anytime you jump between Angular applications, it's going to continue to be familiar. Every React application is all over the place because you just have a bunch of devs hacking in whatever the hell they want to hack in. And that can happen in Angular, but it shouldn't. I also like the TypeScript was instantiated in Angular, in the sense that, like, this is just how we do code now in Angular. So I've always really liked Angular. Yeah, and people like to call it a library, but you can call it what you want, but we all know it's not really a library. Like, people architect their whole... It's a library, man. Why don't you like it? You architected your whole application in React. It's no longer a library. Like, come on. Is it technically true that you could inject React into an Angular application? Yeah. But you have React Router, Redux, all this sort of stuff. That's all. That's all I really like about it. So, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of React, but I mean, people like it, and there's a lot of jobs in it. If you were to ask me, hey man, I'm learning code and I want to get a job fast, what would you recommend? I'd recommend React, just because there's a lot of jobs. Actually, probably what I would recommend is I'd recommend that you find out what's hiring in your area and base my recommendation off that. But you know, React would definitely be up there. Okay, so I need to... What color is this? So we want to set a background color here. And let's go to our... I think it's secondary background. Actually, I don't think that is secondary background. I think that's a new color. Yeah, so my issue with React really is that it takes the worst trait of software developers and lets them continue to do of bad software developers and lets them continue to do that. But honestly, I've worked in enough Angular applications nowadays that can say it's not framework specific. Yeah, it's secondary background. But React just seems to be a cluster heap. Alright. So now that we've done that, let's go ahead and do a couple things. So in share action, we can set the color here. I believe it's just green. Why don't you want to change colors, my friend? There we go. All right. And font weight on that looks a little heavy. Cool. Let's increase the font size here. Alright, and on this share container, we'll go ahead and give this a article, give it a padding of 10 pixels. Cool. Now let's just, now that we're gonna start playing around with CSS, let's jump into here. That looks way too big. Alright, cool. And you can see how these aren't really centered here. So what we want to do is on this div, align items center. And then we also want to justify items. God, I forget what it is. There's one of them that pulls them. Alright, so align it center, and then I think we have to, let's do this real quick. We're gonna pull this one in, that one. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Alright. Then instead of auto, we'll do one FR, one FR, and then just this is justify self, and that works. Let's bring that down to about 20 pixels. And then on here, we'll give it a grid dash gap, about 20 pixels. Grid gap dash column. I think it's grid dash row gap is. Oh, I put that on I meant to go here. Joshua's advice for jobs is to apply to every job under the sun, regardless of experience asked. What's your take on it? I would say apply to jobs that require, if you have no experience, that require 5 years or less, or 3 years and less probably. And then if you meet 50% of the requirements, apply. More or less, we have the same stance. All right, cool. So we have our share going on there. Yeah, it's kind of a sad thing, but it is kind of a numbers game. All right, now that we've done our share action, we can do our social media. Yeah, I saw his video earlier today about apparently he's getting some sass from the haters. Every time someone gets some shit, I always think about that stupid movie from what do you call that thing? You guys remember do you remember the interview? They hate us because they ain't us. What about our anus? No, because they ain't us. They don't hate us because our anus. But no, man. Hey, here's the truth of the matter with that stuff. Is he made it, man. He's a self-made man, and people are jelly. It's not as if the man hasn't tried other things. He's one of the most well-educated guys in the world. He's gone to college, has a mechanical engineering degree, for God's sakes, not some bullshit degree. He did coding boot camp, and he's self-taught. What more do you want from the guy? He is literally the trifecta of education. So, like, if he's going to talk about it, good. He has a right, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, some man's getting a little hate, which means he made it. That's all that means. But yeah, Josh gives out some pretty good advice for the most part. I think he's wrong about certificates, but he's not wrong in intent. So the one thing I think he's wrong about when it comes to that stuff is, one, it allows you to speak to how qualified you are, which is very magical if you're given the opportunity. And sometimes it is about getting past the HR firewall. But he's a smart guy, man. I'm a big fan. Do. Alright, cool. So we have our share links. We'll come back to making that actually go places. Let's go ahead and define a course for the side nav. Honestly, after doing this and all this styling just for that one section, we're creating another component. I also think, so like each one of those is going to open up a tweet with some logic in there to share the page and all that. And so once it has functionality, you might want to start considering making it its own component. Emmanuel Roos, what boot camp are you in, man? Alright. Oh, man. Looks like a manual MIA. Damn, son. You just gonna ditch your boy like that? You guys want to hear something really funny? I can't go into too many details, so it wouldn't be super professional, but I had an interview today. Not like for me, but I was interviewing somebody for the company, and he had mentioned in the beginning that he sort of knew me from my YouTube channel, from my work, and I was like, yo, man. I was thinking, is that a conflict of interest? Because I already like you. Like, you say something like that? Yeah, you say something like, yo, I watch your content. Give this man a job. Alright, so we're going to do app-share. Jan Savinsky. How's it going, man? And then let's go ahead and take all of this. Everything but that article. That's the first time it's happened. I don't, at least that I can remember. I've interviewed somebody. Alright, we gotta go add it to our module. Alright, cool. Now let's go ahead and jump over to our, let's launch this one more time. Alright, cool. It looks like everything's working out still. Excellent. Up next is the course ad. So we'll do that. We'll do that in a second. I think what we're gonna do is just support. My VS Code setup and add-ons. I think I've done something like that, or extensions I'd use, or extensions I use. I might, man. What I might do is take down, because by the end of this, I'll probably have 150 hours of me building a production Angular application. I might just take it all down and throw it into a course on Udemy. Be like, hey, you want to see me grind out an application where I go slowly insane? You can do it. And you could get access to this previously free content for $9.99. But no. So the stuff there's a couple things that I would probably share. Like I would share the autosave. So like when I autosave it updates, right? What I should do is probably go about and create an extension and settings thing and just reference people to that. I've been meaning to do it at my work for onboarding devs, but all right. Heyo. Huh? Yeah, this whole app's gonna be free. It's gonna be a lot of work. It's probably gonna be the biggest project I've ever done. Have you ever wanted to start your own business outside of YouTube/Udemy, like building some sort of web app that brings money in? What do you think I'm doing, bro? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm working on, New World. Uh, but yeah, that's what I'm working on here, man. Hey, got the Mac Daddy in the house, John Murphy. Yeah, it's literally this. This is. You're gonna laugh, but this thing's gonna carry me to the finish line, boys. It's gonna make me a little some change. Do you know how much money W3 Schools makes a day? First off, W3 Schools is worth $25.5 million. And the estimated daily revenue is $35,000. And that was in 2017. Yeah, no, this is video 9 of something. I'm building a production application. So, where do you learn coding? On the streets, dog. W3 Schools, probably 40K a month at this point, or 40K a day, excuse me. Ad revenue. Our goal is to hit 2% of what W3 Schools makes with it. Which is about $1,000 a day. We'll see what happens. How much did you have to make before quitting your job? Double to triple what my salary is. So if I doubled my income consistently for a year, so let's just say my total income, benefits, we'll just say bonuses, and with bonuses and salary, I'm probably around 130 for a year for this year, but it's going up. So let's just say 150. So if I made 300,000 from side projects, I'd probably work both jobs for a little bit, but you know, you're at that point where this is probably an H3. Let's make this an H4. But yeah, so it'd probably be somewhere around there. And I'd have to do it consistently. I'd probably work for a little while. And I actually want to go back into this share component over here. Make this an H4 as well. It's 300K passive income. I'd be out the door the same day. You say that, but like you have to remember that like. So, so not only that, but like once you move on in your career, you'll start having things like 401ks and additional investment accounts that have vesting periods. So, once you get there, you will, like right now, if every month I'm at my job, there's a couple $1,000s that if I leave, here, I can figure it out real quick. Here, I'll tell you exactly what it cost me every month if I leave my current job. So, second. So let's see here. I make 115,000. they do a quarter. It's 50% match on 6%, something like that. So it's times 0.03, and then we times that by 3. So in a year, this is how much money between my 401k and a bonus account I get. So every month that I leave, divide that by 12. All right, so $862.50 is additional free money out there every month that I get. If I leave before 5 years, I get none of it. If I leave before 2 years, I get none of this. If I leave before 5 years, let's say I left at 1 year, I would lose $10,500. If I left at 2 years, I think I lose $8,500, something like that. So I'd probably stay to collect that money because this is also earning interest, right? So we times this by 60. That's $51,750. And then you say, you make 10% a year on that. So you're probably closer to $65,000 of just money that's floating out there. It's called golden handcuffs. The old golden handcuffs technique. But yeah, no. I definitely have to make. I would want to collect the money that I earned and not leave early or anything like that. I think you guys get what I'm trying to say. Did I learn everything alone on W3 Schools? So my background, let me change the music real quick. So my background is I'm a computer science school dropout. I dropped out and I studied my butt off on sites like Codecademy, Free Code Camp, and YouTube. When I dropped out of college, I didn't spend a single dime on a Udemy course. I didn't spend a single dime on Udacity course. I don't recommend that you do that, but I didn't. And I just literally built things, coded things, and go from there. So, would they fire me before the 2-year mark? They probably keep it. I don't know. I haven't read the contract all that well. But imagine whatever the industry standard is. All right, so we have a section here. We have an H4. We'll go ahead and give this a color of white. We'll also give it a font dash weight of bold, and then we'll also give it a text dash align of center. Cool. For how long? I started applying for jobs after 7 months of that. Have I been studying by myself? Yeah, man. I mean, I've just been grinding like everybody else. So let's go get those. Sorry, Tito. I don't want you in my lap right now, dog. Sorry, buddy. So we need a PayPal link. I mean, yeah, I could be fired tomorrow for all I know. I mean, my last job, I got laid off after 3 months. It had nothing to do with me. They just decided that, they want to go a different direction, laid off the whole team. So, yeah, man, you can get laid off at any point. That's why it's so important to have, money saved up and be prepared. Like, don't get caught with your pants down, man. You don't want that to happen. You don't want to be that guy, man. That's never a good feeling. So you gotta make sure you got cash in the bank. You gotta make sure that your debts are low. So like, when it comes to money, man, I'm doing good now, right? You're like, damn, Dylan, you're gonna clear 130 this year. It's like, hell yeah. But and that's then I have my side incomes and stuff. But like, my cost of living hasn't gone up. Granted, I bought a house, but then you start thinking like, okay, Dylan bought a house. I have 2 roommates. I pay $600 for my mortgage every month out of pocket. So you definitely want to keep your cost of living down so that you can continue to live and save and whatnot. Because I've only been making good. 2 years ago, I was making my very first dev job, two and a half, almost 3. It'll be 3 years in September. I was only making something like I was making 62 at my first dev job, and now I'm gonna probably clear close to 150 this year. So am I spending $90,000 more dollars? No, because taxes take. God, man, taxes. What a scam. So you got to keep your car. You got to keep your car. Like my car has 4 missing hubcaps and looks like I'm broke as shit. But that's because I don't care about that stuff, man. You want to keep everything in perspective. Don't necessarily increase your cost of living because you're making more money, or you'll never ever get yourself back to where you need to be. That's what I wanted to do last time. Justify Content Center. What do you mean by Angular teaches you good coding principles? Well, for one, it's sort of test first, so tests are built in. TypeScript also teaches you about static typing, and if you're using TypeScript, you should be doing proper object-oriented programming. It also teaches you about concepts like dependency injection, services, component-level architecture. So you can see, like, here's a service, and I'm injecting it somewhere. Like, there's a title service, right? In this case, I just init, and I'm subscribing to an event. But yeah, so it teaches you things like dependency injection and some of these higher level things that you're probably not going to be exposed to in other things. Okay. Alright, cool. So, file-PayPal. How many hours per day did I study W3 schools? You don't study on W3 schools. You don't study on Mozilla Docs. You investigate on those applications when you feel like you've hit a roadblock. I did one time in my entire career, as I was already a dev, where I went through every single page of JavaScript and on Mozilla and read what the methods do. That's the only time I've ever done that. That was over like a 2-day period where I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything along the way. All right, cool. So we've created our share, our support, and we'll definitely clean this up a little bit in a bit. But let's go ahead and create our course component that we're going to put on there. Are my parents surprised at how much money you make? I bet they were nervous when you dropped out. Dude, my mom is my mom's always been supportive, but like my dad to this day, I still thinks I'm going to be a crackhead on the street. Cause like, so like comparatively speaking from his generation, I've jumped jobs. In 3 years, I'm on my 4th job in 3 years. But in fairness, that last one wasn't my fault. Or wasn't my choice necessarily. But like, cause they don't necessarily, my father doesn't necessarily understand, right? So like, I'm trying to explain to him like, Dad, I'm jumping jobs to make more money or to better my skill set so I can make more money. Like to me, it's always on the company to keep the app. Like if you have a quality developer, they're going to have opportunities. And so if you want to keep that quality developer, you have to keep them happy, right? So like, I've talked with the thing that has worried like a lot of my colleagues when we interview people is when we see somebody who's at their first job for 5 years. And it's like, oh, well, here's someone who's loyal to their job. No, it's like, here's someone who probably looked for a job but was unable to land one because maybe their skills wasn't where they needed to be. How much longer are you going to be here? I usually try to do around 2 hours, and we're less than an hour, so I'll be here about another hour as we continue to do this. So, but yeah, so when I dropped out, in fairness, like, they took it pretty well. Like, granted, everyone just thinks you're going to go back to college because you don't have anything going on. And it's like, that's a fair assumption. Like, I really don't. I spent the last 5-6 years half-assing college. I drop out just before my senior year. Like, they probably just so did they agree with it? No. Most of them just smiled and nodded and was like, here we go again. Dylan's doing crazy stuff. But like, I couldn't take it, man. College is not for me. And it's probably like the same thing about like working in corporate America at times where like you just want to continue to do you. You know what I mean? Like there's a certain way of things I know how we can be successful in the workplace. Like be successful, but you can't necessarily do them in the workplace because it's considered unprofessional. And that's sort of like you have to do it people's way and not your way. And that's a trade-off when you go and work for an employer, right? Because it's not your shop, right? But like, look at this project right here. I could build this however I want and make it as good or as bad as I want, and I live and die by what I do. So. But yeah, so when I dropped out of college, when I dropped out I should say the first time. Oh my goodness, when I dropped out the first time. Granted, when I went back, it was after I had already decided that this wasn't for me. Or I was already working as a developer. Most of my family members just smile and nodded, and did they encourage me? Of course not. I just spent 6 years doing nothing. I had nothing to show for it other than I blew through my college money that my family set aside for me. My father set aside for me. So were they particularly happy? No, man. What? Did I expect them to be? Absolutely not. So let's go ahead and go get... So I applied for a Udemy API key yesterday, but they won't give it to you until your website's out and about, so they can actually see it. So I might actually release this slightly earlier than anticipated, just so I can get what I want on there. But in the meantime, we'll just go ahead and download the image into the app. But yeah, so things are going good. I have no debt minus my house. And are my parents more like, so here's a fun fact for you. A lot of you guys think I'm doing very, very well, but my father makes more money than I do. So it's all relative, right? So or he did, I should say. He's retired now. I don't think he makes as much money anymore. Okay, so let's go to assets. Create courses. And let's go ahead and drag this over here. And we'll rename this. Get rid of that course. Alright, cool. Yeah. But my point being this is that, like, yeah, I'm doing well, but how much do I have? What's my net worth? Forget the house, right? So I've paid down about $30,000 on the house. So you could say that's stuff. But besides that, I have probably another $30K in assets, maybe $50K, $45K, around there. So I can't retire or anything. I barely have anything in retirement because I just started working a couple of years ago. All the money I saved was to get me a house, and my income increased last year. Will that ramp up pretty quickly? Probably. But keep in mind, it's all relative, right? So I have an image. And this will be our, I think it's asset / course / FE - interview. Yeah, man. But no, I mean, I think more so than anything else, they're just happy that I'm happy. Oh my God, what is this thing? I might have to restart this real quick for it to pick up this file change. There we go. That looks good, right? So let's go in our course component CSS. We'll do a max width of 100%. All right, I think we'll put that on the image. But yeah, man, when I look, man, I tell you, there's only a few people who had my back when I was like, yo, I'm doing it my way. April's one. And then there was me. Like that was it. And you can't expect it any other way, man. So when you go rogue, that's what it is. You're going rogue, man. And you're expecting people who don't agree with your choices to all of a sudden be like, or that you're going a different path. Same thing that's happened with Joshua Fluke and people giving him crap, man. He's going his own path, and people are upset because they couldn't do it, or they didn't want to do it, or that maybe they regret their decisions. I don't know, but it happens. And what you have to understand is that it's oftentimes got nothing to do with you. So do what's best for you and move on. So, you know, what was I doing here? All right, I'll do, call this ID, just call it content. All right. Just gonna import those styles real quick. All right. This is way too long to put for this. It's gonna get a little bit bigger. That's a little better. We'll go to make that bold. Yeah, man. If you're looking for gratification from your family or your friends, when you're doing something different, you're gonna have a rough time, man. All right, so we're getting pretty close here. Let's go ahead and style this button real quick. So we'll give this button a width of 100%. Cool. We'll give it a background dash color of green. Border of none, a color of white, and then padding of 5 pixels, 10 pixels. There we go. And then for our content, we'll set a background dash color of background. Yeah, man. The good old days. The good old days where you're stressed and crying and miserable. Those days. Uh, what comes after tertiary? What's after tertiary? What comes after secondary? So it's tertiary and then quaternary? Alright, cool. So now that we've done that, how long did it take you to feel comfortable working as a dev? It's always an interesting question because it changes based on what part of my career I was in. Alright, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead and fix some of these stylings. So the first thing we're going to do is I think we're going to make this sidebar component with let's give it a max dash width of 300 pixels. See how that looks. It's a little too fat. We'll set max width to 250 pixels and a min dash width of 100 px. Cool. All right. All right, and let's fix some of the padding on here. So let's go back to our course component. Comfortable working as a dev. So I would say probably around. So like I changed. So once I start. So here's the thing, and this is what I think you should do as well. Once you start feeling comfortable at your jobs, it's probably time to go because you've learned everything you need to learn, and it's time to move on to the next challenge. So. All right. Next thing we need to do is probably bring these in a little bit, honestly. Let's put some space in here. So we did that. This is looking much better, but we have too much space in here. So what we need to do is our main sidebar component, SCSS. Display grid dash gap 30 pixels. That looks pretty good. Now let's go into our share component and fix this. This is sized improperly. Actually, I think we could even go more than that. Let's do like 45 pixels. Alright, let's see how this looks on the... Yeah. So we want to do something like this. God, I just did it for this. What did I put on this? Justify content center. Alright, so let's go back to here. And that's in our share component.scss. Oh no. Here we go. Yeah, this is our problem. Auto. Cool, good gap. 20 pixels. Font size. 45 pixels. Cool. That might be a little big. 40 pixels. Excellent. Go back down over here. And I think all this is fine, right? That looks pretty good to me. I think maybe the spacing's off a little here. Mainly because these H4s are padding. So I'll just take some margin top off the H4. Oops. That's what? Support. Then we have to decide how much padding on the bottom we want for support for this. How much margin? I think margin dash bottom 30 pixels. Actually, this shouldn't even be part of this. What we should do is actually put it on the container itself, because we shuffle that around. So go to our sidebar component. I think I did that wrong. I think what I wanted was padding. Yo, dog. Why don't you want to work, dog? Oh, you do want to work. It just needs, you need a little cushion. No, just 50. Alright. I just didn't put enough on there for it to look like it did anything. Alright. Cool. Before I forget, does Font Awesome have a Udemy icon? Oh, by the way, guys, if you're interested in my latest course, the 100 Front-End Interview Questions Challenge, it has a perfect score in Udemy. It covers over 100 questions that are relevant to the front end, as well as how to kill those technical screens and do well in the interviews. Make sure you get called back, some tips and tricks, some general questions as well, so you can kill it. If you're interested in that, there is a link in the description below where you can get it for just $9.99. Alright, so no Udemy course. Now what I want to do, because all these courses when they're on my site are going to be $9.99, so I want to put like a little something here. I don't know yet. Like a little, I don't know, I'm going to talk with Ricky at 8 o'clock, I think, which will put this live stream right around 2 hours, maybe 8:15. Yeah, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so real quick, let me go ahead and pull a promotion URL. Go ahead and get my link, dog. All right, cool. Now that we've done that, we can go ahead and jump back to... It's so funny, man. I oftentimes just create technical debt tickets to actually put the content in. You're nervous about getting your first job. Everyone's nervous, man. The truth of the matter is you just got to go for it. That's the hard truth. You just got to pull the trigger sometimes and hope for the best. And what you'll find out is that in the worst case scenario, it's not that bad. Worst case scenario for me recently was I got laid off after 3 months. What happened? I got a better job. I got the best job I ever got. Not only did that, I got laid off after 3 months, took a job across country that I thought was going to be a dream job. I hated it so bad I quit in 3 days. Then I came back and I work at one of the largest consulting companies in the world, and I'm really enjoying myself. So much so that you can see that I'm not stressed, I'm having a good time, and I'm coding after work, putting hours upon hours into a project I'm very passionate about. How come I didn't use Shopify or Squarespace? Because I want a real web application, and I want something to showcase, and I won't be able to do what I can do with it. It's not going to have everything I want. So once you use something like WordPress, Shopify, Squarespace, first off, you have to then learn whatever technologies they want you to learn. You have to learn their framework, their setup, and it's not going to have what I want. So I have to then compromise. So I don't want to compromise. I want to build exactly what I want to build. WordPress, Shopify, Squarespace, those are all great for small businesses that don't need custom functionality. Everything I'm doing is going to be custom. What made you quit your previous job after 3 days? Process issues would be a nice way of putting it, and code quality issues, and just some red flags I've had at previous jobs. All right, bye now. That's what you're doing. So this course component will definitely be much more verbose down the road. Right now, I think it's fine. All right, and we want that to open a new window. Yeah, man, that move, that temporary relocation cost me let's actually just get rid of this button. It's really an anchor tag at the end of the day anyhow. But yeah, that temporary relocation cost me around $7,000, $8,000. They did your boy dirty. All right, and let's go back into our quitting my job and going back to school for computer information systems. This mix of programming, networking, and cybersecurity. What type of jobs would you recommend looking at once I graduate? Networking and programming is usually a good sign for DevOps, especially with a little bit of cybersecurity. So that would be where I would put my emphasis in. In development operations, typically you'll make as much, typically more than developers. So I think that's a good place to go. There we go. Cool. All right, so that's set up for an actual thing. And honestly, now that I look at this, I think I want to actually wrap this in an anchor tag as well. Should we just wrap the whole freaking thing in an anchor tag? I think so. We're going to have to give a more specific selector. And then the same thing for up here. Yeah, no problem, Gregory. Yeah, DevOps is a very growing field and doing real well. Would there be any major drawbacks to uploading your course to other course selling platforms, e.g. SkillShare? So the main issue with SkillShare specifically is that I can't upload free I can't upload any of my YouTube courses and I have 10 hours of content bringing this stuff down to SkillShare, and my premium stuff is you only get, it's essentially the equivalent of you getting views on YouTube. And so you get paid for ad revenue essentially for their premium stuff. So in that sense, by me putting it out there, it's going to cost me money because I make more money on courses than I would on ad revenue on SkillShare. Now, where you can make some money is you get people sign up one time for their SkillShare platform for about $10. So what we're going to do here is just give this an ID equal to buy now. Jump back over here. So what's happening here is I see. So it's thinking there's a space in here, I think. See that little line? We don't want that. We want that to be touching. We can actually just do something like this. Alright, I don't want to deal with that, so. All right, cool. There's that. You click here, click here. All right. One second. All right, cool. All right, so we have this. It's going there. I don't know what we're doing, where we're putting these links. I haven't made these pages, but I do want to. Oh man, we're going OG right now. All right, so what we're gonna do is when you click on this, we want it to share what page we're on, and we should have all that data on the route. And so let's, before we move forward, commit what we've done. So we've done quite a bit. All right, so we did a lot of markup for this so far. All right, cool. All right, close others. What we want to do now is focus on share. Two things. We do an old school. I know I have some sort of Twitter link saved from somewhere. From some sort of project. God, which thing was a Twitter? God, man, we're going back. It's like going down memory lane going on CodePen. Look at this shit. None of this shit even works anymore. Hey, Gator. Hey, buddy. Come here. Oh, big boy. You guys want to see my dog, man? We got him. We went to the vet today. Come here, Gator. Up. Oh. 70 pounds, 11 months. You a big boy. Ah, come here. You can sit on Daddy's lap. Ah, that puppy. Ah. Oh. Okay. All right. Trying to remember what I did. My Does anyone remember what that? There's some sort of thing where you tweet something. Is this? I don't remember. Was it here? What was it? A weather app? I don't remember what I did. God. You know what? I probably should just go free code camp. I don't remember which one it is, but it's probably one of their legacy projects. It's not tic-tac-toe or Simon game. Let's see if one of these things work. I don't see the tweet on here. So it's not the weather. Thank you. It was the quote machine. God. Oh shit. Got my mouse. You know what? I'm just gonna buy a wired mouse. Every time I go to a wireless mouse, it's nice, but then it always causes me issues. What are you doing, Gator? Big boy. This is what I need. Alright, so let's go back and see what this actually does. Alright, cool. Brandon with the come from behind. Which one? So public Twitter message. So this is going to return a string. Alright, so in our share component, we'll come back to this in just a second. So one thing I created was a dynamic title service. I don't believe I actually need this. I think I can just use the actual title service that's provided by Angular. So my title service dynamically updates the title based off what's there, removes the hash if it exists. And it's going to get more complicated as we go and grow things. But our share component, we're going to use constructed. this is part of Angular here. We'll just return URL here in a second so this thing stops yelling at us. Cool. I think we have to fix this one test. Alright. There we go. Alright, so in our share component, what we want to do is we have to say what we want this message to be. We'll call this base. And then we'll return some sort of string of base here. And we'll say check out what you doing, big boy? Let's say something like check out and then here we'll put this dot title service dot get title exclamation where documentation is more than just text. Bam, hit him with some sass, you know what I'm saying? Alright, let's see how this actually works. So what we can do is we'll jump into here. And then on our Twitter square, we will just put a... I guess we could just wrap this in anchor tag. That's really what we should do. And then in here, and we might change that. I think... So now that I think about it, I don't think we're going to have a custom message for... Well, I guess we could. Alright, so... Well, that didn't work. Let's see. Let's take these quotes out. Oh, you know what? I think this get title is a function. Anyhow. It's a method, yeah. We might have to encode the text. Yeah. I see I did something very sophisticated here. uh, ooh, hashtags equals JavaScript and related equals let's actually go back to that one because that's some important stuff. Where's this encode URI component coming from? Is this a built-in method I don't know about? Might be. Oh shit, it is. Alright. Alright, boys, girls, ladies, gentlemen. Let's see if we got that. Alright, cool. So we got the Twitter thing going. I don't need that. Alright, now the next thing that we need to do is how do we encode a link into our tweet? That's the next thing we need to do. I don't think there's an example on that page because that's... Ooh, baby. Alright, so that's good. So we set the related, and the next thing we need to set is a link to pass through. So let's just try and get it to work with Google. Someone asked earlier about why I don't do Squarespace, Wix, all that sort of stuff, because how would I be doing all this stuff? You think they're going to have this set up? Oh, well, you can set up related. You can do whatever. Nah, I just do it myself, dog. I do whatever I want, baby. Alright, so we have that. And then we want to do... that's the link, and we want... let me pull up the Twitter documentation real quick. URL. Alright. Alright, let's see. Let me see what happens when I do this. Alright, let's go to Twitter. Yeah, that didn't work. Oh, man. I might have to encode the whole thing. Typo. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, now I gotta go back and check everything I did. Oh shit. Alright. Oh, that definitely right here wasn't gonna work. Let's start here. Thank you, Chris. Alright, let's see how that looks. Sweet, it worked. Nice. Good catch there, man. Alright, so now that we've done that, we need to get the current URL. I think it's just gonna be part of router. So we're gonna add another dependency here. So instead of this, we want this dot router dot URL. Go back to here. Alright, so if we did everything properly, this should pull our current full URL. I think it's full. I might have to look into it. That's only partial. I need the full URL. Just have the full URL? I mean, I'll just do window.location.href. Navigated item. Oh, I guess we could just concatenate it. I know what the website's gonna be, so. Sweet. And we should honestly go one step further. Just got done eating your sandwich. We're about to dip here in a second. But we should honestly go one step further, and we should make the hashtags part of the route. Gator. Gator alligator. But I think this is pretty good. So So what we'll do is this, is we could do something like this. So const route pieces, set this equal to this dot router dot URL dot split. We want to split on those forward slashes, and then const hashtags equals public get route hashtags. This will return a string back, and what we'll do is say and then we'll say hashtags is equal to the dot get. Oh shit, you know what? I bet this thing, I'm gonna have to do the same thing where I bet you anything this is gonna keep any local hashtags in here. But okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna split it off and I'm gonna make these hashtags dynamic to include JavaScript in whatever category that's there, but not category itself. So like normally it'd be category / JavaScript / arrays. We want array and we want JavaScript there, but we don't want anything else. So we would do something like I don't know how to unban you. So just send me email. That'll make it easy to unban people. Once you're dead, you know what I mean? That's just how it works. Alright, so and I bet in the docs here it says that the hashtags are a comma separated list. Okay. So all we'll do is let hashtags equal you're quick to ban. Look, man, when your boy's hacking some stuff out and you're over here talking crazy, we ain't got time, man. The trigger finger's going quick. Every time I gotta go and look over there for craziness, I gotta just pull the trigger. You know what I mean? Like I get back to the grind, the hustle, get back to that cheddar, the bread. All right. All right. Cool. So now what we want to do is we want to take this hashtags. Definitely going to clean this up later. Instead of JavaScript, what we want to attach here is the comma separated list here that we got of hashtags. Which, if everything went well, it should still work as anticipated, but there is a bug that I'm aware of. So you should still have hashtag in there. Category Java. Why is JavaScript in there? That wasn't the bug I thought was going to be there. Ugh. that should do it. We don't even need to do that less than 1. All right, cool. So now it's gonna work. Hashtag JavaScript. Okay, cool. That worked. We're at a good place to stop. I have a meeting with Ricky to go over some UI UX stuff. We did about our 2 hours. So what we're gonna do is we're definitely gonna clean up this Twitter message. We're then going to write some tests for it. We're then going to have to, there's a bug. The bug I was referring to was, say I went to books, which takes us down to here, which is kind of nice. You notice how it adds that. I bet anything that now this is in our hashtag. Yeah, so that blows everything up. So we definitely are going to have to do some testing with that and sanitize the URL a little bit. And then we, of course, will move it to the other side and do some other stuff. And but so far, so good. We did about 2 hours on the share component. It was a lot of fun. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you're interested in any of my courses, again, you can get them for just $9.99 in the description below. Use coupon code CodingGod. I will see you guys next time.